Lemonada.
This episode of Don't Listen to Us is brought to you by Booking.com. I'm looking out my window, and spring is in the air. It's time to go travel. I've got to say, if you're looking to grow your vacation rental business, this is the place to be. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world, and for good reason. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. But here's the thing. Most vacation rental hosts don't even realize they can list their properties on Booking.com. And if you're not on the platform, your rental is basically invisible to millions of Booking.com travelers worldwide. After all, they can't book what they can't see, right? But once you start listing on Booking.com, your property gets seen by a massive global audience of unique travelers. That means more visibility, more bookings, and more opportunity to accelerate the growth of your rental business. And it couldn't be easier. You can register your property in as little as 15 minutes, and nearly half of hosts get their first booking within a week. So if your vacation rental isn't listed on Booking.com, it could be invisible to millions of travelers searching the platform. Don't miss out on consistent bookings and global reach. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Hello, we are here for More Happier, a podcast where we get happier. It is the weekend. We are talking with just a little bit of a looser vibe. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, Gretchen.
Today we'll talk about my very basic question about very basic questions, and we will explore our views about dinner for breakfast. But first, something making us happier. Elizabeth, what is something making you happier?
Well, Gretch, the other day, Adam and I went to a wine tasting party.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, so our friends had kind of won this wine tasting party where, you know, it's exactly what it sounds like. You go, you taste wine. There's a guy there who tells you about all the different wines. You can order the wines if you want to. But what was so fun about it was that it was this couples night that Adam and I had together.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize we sort of hadn't had like a couples thing for quite a while. So we went together, we sat with another couple and a friend. And it just, I don't know, there was something about it that just felt really fun and lively. I think because there was this activity that always kind of makes something fun. It's not like just the two of us going to dinner.
Yeah.
It felt very different.
Yeah. I'm just curious, how many couples was it and how many wines did you taste?
It wasn't just couples, but there was, I think, about maybe 20 people.
Oh, okay. So it was pretty good size.
Yes. And I think we tasted 9 wines.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's a lot.
Yes. So it was a long process. It wasn't just like 3 wines. It was like a solid 2 hours of sitting and drinking and chatting. You could throw out part of it if you didn't want to drink the whole taste.
Right.
But also it was like you could talk about what you liked and didn't like. And there's that thing of like, we didn't know everyone there. There were people there we had never met.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't our friends that we see like all the time. So that also made it fun. And meeting new people is always easier when you have something like that where you're doing something to talk about.
Yes.
So I think that was another reason why it was really fun.
Yeah. Well, this appeals to me because, you know, I don't like games very much. So a lot of times something like this would be a game night. You love a game night. And I think part of it is
I do.
It's easier to talk to people and meet new people and you have something that you're doing. You're not just chatting. I love to just chat, but it is fun to have something to make it different. I think it's fun to feel like you're learning something or like getting an insight into something like wine. But so to me, this really appeals, or like if it was a cheese tasting party or even something like a coffee tasting party, because it is an activity, but it's not games. I mean, I do like a game night just because I like the fun, and I always like it more than I think that I will once we're actually playing games. But I don't look forward to playing games the way I know you look forward to playing games.
I do look forward to playing games. It's true. I could do a game night every week and probably be happy.
I think that's so nice. But this is a good idea. It reminds me of, and maybe Jamie and I should do one of these. Even if you don't want to be drinking wine or you don't know anything about drinking wine, one of the fun things I did was have a tasting party when I was writing Life in Five Senses. And I had all these friends and we tasted different types of apples and rated them. Didn't our mother and father do something where they tasted different kinds of ice cream? Or did we just,
I think different vanilla ice creams.
Right, to see like, was the most fancy brand actually the best tasting, or, right? I think that would be super fun. It would be really fun. This is something that I heard about in Life in Five Senses, and this would be really fun to do with a bunch of people. You know how there are all these really unusual ice cream flavors now? And when I was with all my high school friends, we went to an ice cream store and they just had these strange ice cream flavors, but that were delicious. I broke my no sugar rule so I could taste some of them. Very unexpected, but delicious. And somebody told us about a party where it was just, for dessert, it was all different kinds of ice cream that you wouldn't really necessarily have the boldness to order and really commit to for like your ice cream cone, but you'd like to taste it.
Well, that's a good idea.
And so the idea was you could just pass it around and everybody take a taste. And then you could say, oh, this is my favorite. I like this one. Again, it's less learning than doing a wine tasting test. And much shorter, but it would still be this thing. I bet it would be an icebreaker and would get people sort of talking and laughing and commenting on their different thoughts about the different flavors.
Yeah, that would be fun. I do like the idea of learning, even if it's not something I'm necessarily going to remember. And I think that is something like as one gets older, I found myself the other day saying, well, I love a lecture. And I'm like,
I love a lecture.
That is not something I would have said when I was 22. I would not have been like, I just love a lecture.
I love a lecture.
Now I could go to a lecture on almost anything probably and enjoy it.
Do you feel like you learned permanently stuff about wine?
No. It was a combination.
Yeah.
I don't think I permanently learned it, but it was very interesting to hear about. I don't have a great palate. You and I both have taste as our most neglected sense.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And by the way, if you want to take the most neglected sense quiz, go to GretchenRubin.com and take them. I haven't talked about the most neglected sense quiz in such a long time. I love that quiz.
It's a good one. But a $12 bottle and like a $50 bottle, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But it was just interesting to hear about it in the different regions. And he was talking about why wine is white or what color is it red or why it's orange or why it's pink. So it was just fun and interesting. Yeah. And it was nice just to be there next to Adam and have our little asides while having a bigger conversation.
Kind of a date night, but...
Yes, it was a date night.
But it kind of came completely packaged.
Fully formed, exactly.
Because you're like, our friend is having this. This is what it is. We're invited.
Yes.
I remember with not knowing the difference, you sort of it's maybe to my advantage not to know the difference because then I can drink the cheap stuff and not be bothered by it. But Alyssa, one of your things about you is how you like corner store coffee. Like you like the coffee you get from a corner store. And I remember one time talking to somebody who actually worked at a coffee company. And I said, oh, I love coffee. I drink so much coffee. And she's like, oh, really? What's your favorite kind of coffee? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, just coffee. The idea that she would have I have a special kind. But then, of course, people have all sorts of special things that they like. Yes. I would love to go to a coffee tasting party. That would be super fun.
I would love that, too.
Okay, maybe we'll do that for our reading retreat. If you're doing a lot of reading, you have to stay awake. So maybe we'll look for a coffee tasting thing. That would be fun.
That would be fun. I did a honey tasting the other day.
Really?
A mini honey tasting with Sarah in Ojai.
Oh, that screams Ojai. Yes, and Sarah's really gotten into honey. Oh, and it's your bees, too, your killer bees.
Well, let me tell you, Honeys can taste radically different.
Yeah.
You thought they all taste the same. They do not. So I highly recommend a honey tasting.
Well, I remember my mother-in-law gave our parents a 6 honey sampler and how much they enjoyed it. When you really compare them, you see, oh, this one is more flowery and this one is more like hay and whatever. So yeah, honey sampler. Oh, that's so fun.
Yes.
Very Ojai. Very Ojai.
So Gretch, what's making you happier?
Here's something I was thinking about that's so easy to take for granted. And I really don't want to take it for granted because it's such a source of happiness for me. And probably not so much for you, Elizabeth, because I am a person who loves to reread and rewatch and re-listen. I will go over and over things. And I just never want to take the fact that right now it's very easy to rewatch and re-listen for granted. Now, the beautiful thing about reading is that you've been able to reread for a very long time. And I reread a lot. Like I really do reread quite a bit. And I'll sometimes just reread a page or two. Like there's one passage that I love and I'll just go back and read that one passage. But I also love to rewatch TV and movies. And I really have to force myself to watch something new because I love to rewatch them so much. And I always say to myself, well, you're not going to have anything new to rewatch if you don't watch something new. But sometimes I'll just go on YouTube and watch a scene, like the scene from Mad Men where Peggy and Dawn are talking about the campaign for the telegram. And you see them working through it. And it's just so satisfying. And I'll just watch that over and over and over again. Or The Office. How many times have I seen The Office? And it just gets better every single time. I enjoy it more every single time. And, you know, it's hard for me just to think like if you missed a show, you just missed it. Maybe you would see it in reruns, but
Right.
maybe not. And now it's so unusual. Like a show, I never really watched it that much, but I would love to watch it now, but I haven't, is 30-something. And Jamie
So good.
loved 30-something. You can't rewatch 30-something. I think it's because of the music rights, or it's all tied up or something. But anyway, it's one of these shows that was super popular, but you just, for whatever reason, you can't rewatch it. And it's so unusual.
Yes.
Or like one of my all-time favorite movies is All That Jazz. It may be my very favorite movie. You can't stream it. I finally just bought the DVD, but I can't remember how to use a DVD. So someday I'm going to have to like sit down and remind myself how to actually do that because I just couldn't bear the thought that I didn't have the capacity to rewatch it because I love it so much. I'll replay it in my head, but I want to watch it. And it's so frustrating because we've gotten so spoiled
Yes.
that, oh, if you want to watch it, you can. Because that's such a great pleasure to me. And it's so unusual in the history of mankind that you are able to replay things.
Well, and as like a TV writer, Gretchen, it's also nice for creators that
Yes.
people can find something years after it
Sure.
came out. Like all these people are watching Girls now who've never seen it.
Yes.
People continue to start at season 1 of Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
And that's nice too, which isn't rewatching, but it's sort of watching at any time.
Right. It's having the capacity. Well, and it's funny because, Elizabeth, we have all these completists who listen to the show. And sometimes they say, I'll go all the way back to the beginning and I'm listening to every episode. And like, I remember when you were talking about Fantasy Island, they might well be like, oh, I want to go watch Fantasy Island now.
Yes.
And they can.
Yes.
Or they want to rewatch it. Like, oh, I want to rewatch the one where the woman just wanted to rest.
Yes.
And sometimes just knowing that you can have it
Brings joy.
brings joy. Just knowing like it's not gone. It's just like a book that you can pick it up again if you want to. I want to remember to be grateful for it because it's something that gives me so much pleasure.
Okay. All right, Gretch. Well, coming up, there is something you've been meaning to ask me, but first, this break.
Elizabeth, you know I'm always cold. I am absolutely a blanket person, and I immediately understood the obsession when I tried Lola blankets. The first thing I noticed was how unbelievably soft it is. It honestly feels different from every other blanket I own. I have one on the sofa right now, and it's become part of my nightly routine. I lie there, we turn on the TV to whatever show we're watching, and I pull the Lola blanket over me. It somehow makes the whole room feel more pulled together.
There is a reason Lola has over 20,000 five-star reviews. For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select Lola Blankets products with code HAPPIER at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code HAPPIER to get 40% off your order. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola Blankets. Again, that's lolablankets.com with code HAPPIER for 40% off select products.
If your team's communication is messy, customers feel it. Missed messages, dropped follow-ups, people waiting too long for a reply. It's one of those things that quietly creates stress and lost opportunities. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the business communication system built so you never miss a call. What I like is that your whole team can work from one shared number, so everyone sees the same conversation history and customers don't fall through the cracks. And the AI features are genuinely useful. It summarizes calls and flags next steps automatically so things keep moving.
Quo also works from your phone or computer, so it's easy to stay connected wherever you are. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/Gretchen. That's QUO.com/Gretchen.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
Why did I search the internet for answers to my cold sore problem? Now I'm stuck down a rabbit hole filled with images of alarmingly graphic sores in various stages of ooze. I can clear my search history, but I can never unsee that.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. Amazon Health AI gets you the right care fast. Healthcare just got less painful.
Okay, listen, here's something I've been meaning to ask you. This sounds like such a simple, obvious question, but I really mean it very profoundly, which is, how do people know things? I feel like there's so many things where everybody just assumes that everybody knows, but how do people know things? I mean, things don't get mentioned. Nobody thinks to mention it to you. And so there's just things you don't know. And I'm haunted by well, what are the things I don't know because I just never randomly knew about them?
I know what you mean. I am someone who often feels like everybody knows something that I don't know.
Like everybody got the memo about adulthood and got all the... Okay, but can I give you some examples that have occurred to me lately? Okay. Don't put metal in a microwave. How do people know that? I mean, we all know that, but it doesn't say it on the microwave, and we've been led to believe that's incredibly important. How can you just leave that to people's casual exchange of information?
And that's a funny one, Gretchen, because I feel like when microwaves first came out, it was all the rage to say, don't put metal in that microwave.
Yeah.
Don't put metal in that microwave. But it's surprising, how would Jack know not to put metal in a microwave?
Right.
Because it's not like now we run around saying, don't put metal in a microwave. I could see him doing it.
Right. And then I've been haunted for a long time by a story that I heard when I was younger. And it's always told, this person was such an idiot. How could she have done something so dumb? And her nail polish in its glass had become thickened. And so she decided she would try to thin it out by heating it on a burner. And it heated up and it exploded. And of course, that was really bad. But I thought, I don't know that I would do that, but I don't know that I would know that it was a really, really bad idea to do it. It's not that far off from the kind of thing that I could see myself doing. And here's a small example. I saw somebody shove their glasses on the top of their head. And I remember randomly, somebody was like, because I always wear glasses and contact lenses. There are 2 pieces of advice that people randomly gave me without any emphasis at all, could just as easily never have been said and have changed the way I behave for all my life. One is, don't shove your glasses on the top of your head because you will stretch them out. So don't do that. So I don't do that for that reason. And the other one was, when you put in your contact lenses, you either go left, right always or go right, left always. And when you have glasses, here's the third one that just occurred to me. When you have glasses, don't put the lenses face down because then they'll scratch. And the thing about these things is they make sense once you stop and think about them. It's not like they're counterintuitive, but would I have thought of them and changed my behavior had somebody not said something? But I feel like it was so random that they happened to say something. And so then this gives me this feeling of, oh my gosh, what is all the information that I don't know that everybody else has just been casually bantering about all these years? And I missed it, the random conversation. And so I don't know. And here, Elizabeth, this is the biggest example, because this is a thing which I guess is kind of shocking, but I honestly did not know. And I think I was in college. So I was in Kansas City. I was with our mother in the car. She said, oh, we have to drop something off at your father's office. We go, we pull up in front of this office building. He had changed office buildings since I had been there. Get out, go in there. And I realized, I don't know what floor he's on. And I go to the lobby and I'm looking and there's no directory to tell you what floor is where, what office number is on what floor. And I couldn't figure it out. So then I thought, okay, well, my mother is waiting. So I'll just open it up at a floor and look around and then just go up or down, right? So this took me like 4 or 5 times. I finally get it. I don't know, 2613 or whatever it is. I go down and Mom says, oh my goodness, what took you such a long time? All you were supposed to do is like run up there, drop it off and come down. I'm like, but you forgot to tell me what floor. And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, but you didn't tell me what floor. You told me the number was 2613, but you didn't tell me what floor it was on. And she's like, don't you know? It's on the 26th floor. And I was like, no, I did not know that. It makes sense. I've never forgotten it ever since. But I didn't know that.
Yes, I remember that story.
And it is the kind of thing where if you know it, it seems so obvious. Why would you ever mention it? But then again, if nobody mentions it to you, does it occur to you?
Well, something like that for me, Gretchen, is air conditioning filters. Like, I didn't know that you had to change air conditioning filters every year or maybe more often. I still don't know. Luckily, Adam does that. But I had no clue. So if I had gone off and gotten my own house, I would have, I'm sure, gone 20 years without changing the air conditioning filter.
But then also, who remembers when to do it? I'm like, how do people track this stuff?
And I'm sure everyone has different areas where they suffer this.
Well, I wonder if this is an issue with work from home, because when you're at work, there's a lot of super casual, almost extremely low level exchanges of information, like, oh, hey, do you have this thing? Oh, yeah, you just do this. And you don't even think of it as formally asking a question. It's just, or you can observe somebody doing something. There's a lot of learning that happens very easily. Whereas if you're at home, you sort of have to figure things out. And maybe you don't even know that there's something to figure out. You don't know that there's something you don't know. So you don't even think of it. This is the problem that we talked about a while back, which is like, knowing that there might be a solution. Sometimes it doesn't even occur to you, this might have a solution.
I also think because we spend so much more time on screens and sort of that way, rather than living in life, that these things are falling away more and more. Like, I'm just thinking, how would Jack know to put baking soda in the fridge? I mean, it's just not his world, even though we do have baking soda in the fridge.
Right.
How do you learn that? I'm sure at some point Mom told us, oh, put baking soda in the fridge.
But it's also funny because it might be, he's like, oh, well, you have to keep baking soda refrigerated. And then he doesn't understand, no, it's not for the baking. It's,
right.
It's for the, right, exactly. That's such a good example, because if you don't know to look for it, you wouldn't be like, I wonder why it is that so many people keep an open container of baking soda in their fridge.
Now, Gretchen, I have to tell you something I did, speaking of the nail polish on the stove. Not so long ago, I was cleaning, I believe it was a coffee pot, which had been very hot.
I know where this is going.
And I put cold water in it and started washing, and sure enough, it exploded into 1,000 million pieces, shattered. And we had tiny shards of glass all over the sink, the floor, the counter, in the kitchen. And that is one of those things where you should know, don't make something that's very hot suddenly very cold.
Yes.
And yet I did that. I don't think I knew I wasn't supposed to do that until it shattered. And Adam was like, well, yeah, it's because you put the cold water in it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So right there.
Right there. No, isn't there a thing like you're supposed to put a knife in it or something, and that like helps it regulate the temperature? I don't know. There's something in there about putting, And I think the same thing is true with like saucepans. You're not supposed to, if they're really hot, you're not supposed to put cold water in them. Right. But who knows?
So I guess it's just, we should go around imparting information to people and listening for information all the time.
Yeah.
Gretch, here's one that Sarah and I suffered from recently. And this is kind of a new thing that you would know, but it is important to know, which is that if you use Google Docs, as we do, and you use tabs on Google Docs, which means you have your main Google Doc, but then you can open any number of tabs attached to it and work on different tabs that are, related to the original document, but
so
different.
sort of like subdivisions or
yes,
files within the folder.
Yes. Well, here's what we didn't know, that if you are sending a PDF to somebody, so a copy of the document, if you have various tabs, whether they're open or not, if you just send, all of the tabs will send in that PDF.
Not just the one that's open.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
So the person you're sending to will get every tab you have on the subject. That can be a bad thing. And Sarah and I have accidentally done that twice now because we've forgotten. So now I literally have a Post-it on my iPad that says, don't send a Google Doc that hasn't been separated. You have to make a new Google Doc.
Yeah, copy and paste it into its own clean document. Right, yeah, okay.
But how are we to know that? There's nothing on Google Docs that says, like, when you're going to send something, by the way, you should know this.
I guess it considers the whole, well, obviously, it considers the whole thing a whole. It's not just what's open, it's the whole thing.
Right.
Right. Oh, see, that is really important. Have you had the thing where somebody sends you a document and they meant to send you the final version, but they accidentally sent you a version that shows the edits?
Yes.
I don't even know how that happens, but I'm like, how do I know that I'm not doing that? But I have received that.
Yes.
So other people have made that mistake with me. Never too bad result. It's always just like, oh, it's kind of annoying because I see all their markups. But I can imagine that is the situation where you would not want that. You want to have control over what document you're sending, but you don't necessarily.
Yes.
You might assume that you know what it is when you don't. But see, how does one know? How do people know things?
Yes. There's probably some book somewhere you can buy of, like, the 1,000 things we should all know.
Yeah. And you'd be like, but who doesn't know not to put metal in a microwave? But I think, okay. Listeners, let's make a compilation. What are things that you feel like you did not know that everybody else knew, that you're like, oh, okay, now I know everybody knew this, but I didn't know this. I didn't know about how floors and buildings go.
Yes. And to be clear, these are not true rules, not like be nice to your neighbor. This is like connect your device using a URL cord or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but can I say an adjacent thing? There are people who think that they have not been given information or they have not been given access to information that they want, but they haven't looked for it. So on the one hand, we have the people who are like, nobody thought to tell me. How was I supposed to know? Because nobody told me about putting glasses down lens first. And I remember I was at a meeting, I think it was Eleanor's junior year. So we were going to like some college, meeting, and everybody's on edge and whatever. And this woman, this mother, raised her hand and very indignant is like, I don't understand. No one has communicated this. We don't know that. There's all this information. We don't have it. It's this, that. And there's just this silence falls in the room. And everybody looks at her and is thinking the same thing, which is we have been inundated with emails. There have been multiple meetings on exactly those subjects. And at a certain point, it's like if people are trying to tell you information, you have to listen. You have to avail yourself of it.
Yes.
I'm very good at that. I will read a school blast for sure. But I guess I don't read manuals. I'm not that good at reading manuals. Read the manual. That's one of my true rules. It's like if you read the information that comes with the air conditioner, it'll be crystal clear that you got to change the filter. But I don't do that. Anyway, listeners, what has come up? Maybe we can have a public service announcement of all these things that we all need to know that people don't know.
Well, that would be great. A nice PDF.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Gretch, what is our spotlight on a tool this week?
Well, speaking of resources that are handy, I just released a new tool to help everybody design your summer. Love Design Your Summer. We're coming up and Design Your Summer so you can map out what you want to do, because we all know that feeling of the summer ending and you think, oh, why didn't I do this or that? Wishing you'd done more. And all of this is in the Happier app. You can choose a one-word theme for the summer. You can make a bucket list for the summer. You can plan what you want to read, all kinds of things. You can do the Design Your Summer on the tools page in the Happier app. And if you want to download the app, it's thehappierapp.com. Elizabeth, I have to say my Design Your Summer list is getting longer and longer. I think it's kind of getting unrealistic. How about you?
Mine is still pretty slim. I always say for me, summer is kind of a fall, even though I'm not on the traditional TV schedule. I don't think I'm as overloading with summer as others.
Okay.
But I have been thinking about it. I'm very excited about it.
Excellent.
All right, Gretch, coming up, there's something you've been meaning to ask me, but first, this break.
Hey, it's Julie Louis-Dreyfus from Wiser Than Me, etc. Just popping in with a little reality check. Food waste shouldn't exist. There is no reason that our leftovers should end up in a landfill, but that's the final destination for about a third of the food we grow. God, our ancestors would be confused. They use their food scraps as compost, or as animal feed, or in weird soups, all the stuff we did before garbage was invented. But composting is hard work. Living with a bucket of rotten food on your counter is gross. Most food goes in the trash because it's easy. And these days, we'll take any easy we can get. But now there's something easier. Drop your scraps in a mill food recycler. It looks like a kitchen bin and an iPhone had a baby. It takes nearly anything, even meat and bones. It works automatically. You can keep filling it for weeks, and it never smells. When you finally empty it, you've got these nutrient-rich grounds. Use them in your garden, pour them in your green bin, or have Mill get them to a small farm so the food you don't eat can help grow the food you do, just like it should be. It's why I own a mill, why I invest in Mill, and why I'm still obsessed with my mill. If you want to get obsessed too, go to mill.com/wiser to get $75 off. That's mill.com/wiser for $75 off.
This episode of Don't Listen to Us is brought to you by Booking.com. I'm looking out my window, and spring is in the air. It's time to go travel. I've got to say, if you're looking to grow your vacation rental business, this is the place to be. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world, and for good reason. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. But here's the thing. Most vacation rental hosts don't even realize they can list their properties on Booking.com. And if you're not on the platform, your rental is basically invisible to millions of Booking.com travelers worldwide. After all, they can't book what they can't see, right? But once you start listing on Booking.com, your property gets seen by a massive global audience of unique travelers. That means more visibility, more bookings, and more opportunity to accelerate the growth of your rental business. And it couldn't be easier. You can register your property in as little as 15 minutes, and nearly half of hosts get their first booking within a week. So if your vacation rental isn't listed on Booking.com, it could be invisible to millions of travelers searching the platform. Don't miss out on consistent bookings and global reach. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
I've been trying to say yes more to little adventures. Nothing huge, just getting out of the routine and going somewhere different for the day. And it really makes you appreciate having a car that feels solid and comfortable, where you're not thinking about the drive, you're just focused on where you're going. That's what stood out to me about the Defender. It has that rugged design, but it also feels really thoughtful inside. And I like that there's a full lineup, from the two-door 90 to the 110 and the 130 with seating for up to 8. So it really fits different kinds of plans.
And it's built with those durable, purposeful materials so you can actually use it without worrying about every little thing. It also has features that make driving feel easier, like ClearSight technology and the Pivot Pro system, so you can keep track of where you're going and everything you want to listen to along the way. Plus, with up to 89 cubic feet of cargo space and available 3 rows, it gives you a lot of flexibility depending on what you're bringing with you. Explore the full Defender lineup at LandRoverUSA.com.
Okay, Elizabeth, this is a very minor issue, but I realized I don't know this about you. And I was just like, I wonder what Elizabeth thinks. So everybody loves breakfast for dinner. That's a whole thing, right? Like, for dinner, we're going to have whatever,
Yes.
omelets or pancakes or whatever. But my question for you is, would you eat dinner for breakfast? Would you eat dinner food at breakfast time? Because I do, and people think I am a monster in my household. Would you do that?
No, I do not find dinner for breakfast appealing at all.
Okay, so you wouldn't eat meatballs, you wouldn't eat tuna salad, you wouldn't eat...
No.
Okay. Because you just aren't in the mood, or it feels wrong? Like, why?
It feels wrong. Now, what I will say is I often would skip breakfast and just have coffee, and then I might have at 11:30, I might have dinner for breakfast food.
Okay.
But it's funny that you bring this up now, because Jack, my son, does not like breakfast in general. And just yesterday, he told me from now on he wants to have a ham and cheese sandwich for breakfast.
Okay. So he likes lunch for breakfast.
Lunch for breakfast, yes.
Okay.
Or he requested rice. He said, and I said, but rice is just starch. And so that's where we got to a ham and cheese sandwich, which has the protein.
Okay.
But he just can't eat another bagel. He's done.
So he doesn't like bagels, scrambled eggs, things like that.
No, and he was for years eating them anyway. And I think occasionally that's fine, but he's just, for the moment, he's done with breakfast food, period.
Well, we can break free from the tyranny of these assumptions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like a ham and cheese sandwich. I mean, sure. Absolutely.
Adam, for instance, he must have breakfast food in the morning or his first meal of the day.
Meaning what?
It completely messes with his head if he does not have breakfast food before lunch or dinner food.
You mean, so like if he, for some reason, slept really late and his first meal was at 11, he would have to have a, quote, breakfast before he could move on to like, now I'm eating lunch or dinner.
Yes.
It has to be slotted. So like, what's breakfast?
Say cereal or yogurt.
Oh, okay. So it's like the orderliness. So he absolutely would not have dinner for breakfast.
Never.
Never.
Not in a million years. He would rebel against that notion.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Here's an exception, Gretchen. Occasionally, I might like a leftover piece of pizza for breakfast.
Ah, why is pizza an exception?
I don't know. It just is. I don't know why. Maybe because I love pizza. Maybe.
Yeah, cold pizza. There's something just delicious about cold pizza.
I will eat cake for breakfast, dessert for breakfast. But that kind of goes with breakfast sweets, right? A lot of people have a Danish or something, so having cake isn't that far off.
It's funny. I remember we had a listener who was a rebel who said that the way that she ate healthy all day long was she always had one piece of candy at breakfast time. As a rebel, she's like, see, I'm eating whatever I want. I'm eating candy for breakfast. And then once she had the little piece of candy, then she felt like, the rest of the day, I'm fine. I'll eat very healthfully. I think this is a useful thing to know because it's good for leftovers. Because if you have leftovers and you're just as happy to have dinner for breakfast, you can eat your leftovers for breakfast. But if you feel like, oh no, this food is only for dinner, then that limits the number of times you can eat it.
That is true.
Yeah, and it's sort of one of these silly things, Elizabeth. It's like, does it matter? I don't know, but it's kind of interesting.
It's fun to think about.
It's fun to think about.
Okay, finally, Gretch, what is our quotation this week?
This comes from Anne Truitt, who was a very renowned sculptor, but also an amazing writer. Her journal called Turn, the Journal of an Artist. She wrote, I have not been inordinately materialistic, but I am attached to my house, to my inherited belongings, and to the things that I have chosen for myself. All these objects add complexity to my emotional ties to the people with whom I have shared and share my life and to my aspirations for myself.
I like that.
So, Elizabeth, are you feeling happier?
Yes, I am feeling happier. Thank you to Chuck. Bye, Gretch.
Bye, Elizabeth. The best time to start a happiness project is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Elizabeth, I am so excited to see what listeners suggest because I do have this sort of dread that there are all these obvious things that other people know that I don't know. And I would love to see what the more I feel like somebody has told me those things, the more confident I'll feel in life.
Yes. You're not walking around in the dark.
Yes.